Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and those who don't know what the hell you are yet. Hopalong PR here. We are back with Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky, the third, and it is time to go get some more doors open. So, let's see. I think this one's the one I need, well, not need, wanted to go to, because it's a trial door, and yep, it's in the looking glass. Those who seek to enter this door must first overcome a trial. Should this fail to deter you, open the door and step inside. Yeah. Not here to fuck spiders, mate. Show us what you got, and then we'll just destroy it and laugh. Oh. Huh. Who's the one responsible for making the doors? The programming of the cube, well, not the cube, of the world, Celeste, or the Lord of Phantasma? I don't know. Never really gave that much thought. Here we go.
Keep going.
Oh, fuck you, buddy. Alright, so... poop. You know what? Dick's going to be the, arrow catcher like he usually is. Might as well make sure his CP's green so that way he's getting all, well, not all, some of it back as time goes on. Oh, it's always nice to see the clock down actually work. I think that's one of the biggest and most important debuffs in this entire game. And yet it doesn't work on the bosses that you really wanted to. Cassius, Chloe. The Abyssians it actually worked on, which I was surprised. Happily surprised. Yeah. You're just a giant spinning top, we know. Youch. Say, hit dick. I have him out in front for a reason. Oh, fuck off. Death 100, here I come. Okay, maybe not. Although that is a lot of destruction, and I am okay with that. Okay, I was panicking for no reason at all. Hooray! Alright, that does it for this fuck. Only 6 experience. Beautiful. You've overcome the trial. Thus shall grant you a memory fragment and my blessing. What are we gonna learn about? Who are we gonna learn about, I should say? Blue Blanc. The infamous Phantom Thief. Investigative report on the Phantom Thief B. His crimes, his history, his true identity. Empirical Chronicle Investigation Team. Well, they do seem like they have a good amount of stuff on him. Phantom Thief B had quite a lengthy, productive career in thievery in the Empire, as the amount of records he been able to find in his crimes without a doubt. From numerous paintings held in the Imperial Art Gallery, to a sepium crystal held in the Empire's customs warehouse, to an even cutting-edge tank held in an Imperial Army research facility. It just sounds like he's doing it for fun. Nothing is truly safe when he desires to steal it. His conquests aren't limited to inanimate objects. He's been guilty of pretending to be a military officer and eloping with the wife of a marquis on one reported occasion. And this, perhaps the most baffling part. There's no concrete evidence to suggest he has profited from any of his exploits. Rather, the objects stolen usually end up in places so bizarre their owners are liable to faint upon hearing about him. In other cases, they are transformed into Mira, which is then rained upon the skies areas largely inhabited by those less fortunate. Hearing this, one might lead him to think that a vigilante thief who takes from the rich and gives to the poor, but make no mistake, truth is not so simple. The wife of the Marquis discussed earlier is an example of that. As of this writing, it has been a little over half a year since the elopement took place. Since then, she has remained unaccounted for. Ooh. Many of those items stolen may return to the public eye in some fashion, but not all. His eccentric techniques and bizarre behavior regarding his objects he steals might appear as though his thefts are purely whims and nothing else. Upon setting overall picture and revealing the objects, and indeed people in play you bargain to see, all have one specific thing in common. They're beautiful. Take the artwork stolen from the Imperial Art Castle, for example. Each of them works of pure genius, painted by a master of their craft. But they gain reputation of being too complex for the target audience of such works. The nobility and were shamefully stored away instead of placed on display. Similar could be said about the sepium crystal, known for unparalleled beauty after being seized by customs. It was sealed away in the warehouse and doomed never to be admired by human eye ever again. The tank is one more example. This promising development cut short. Rather put to good use, it was left collecting dust. As an aside, for the Marquis's wife does not contain some striking similarities. Despite marrying her, he devoted most of his attention to his concubines and barrel sped through for her. In conclusion, we can now see that the underlying motive for his actions is finding objects of beauty that have been abandoned by the world and freeing them from their foolish owners. No matter how the world may see his crimes, his motive is clear. Truth of that is evidence in the cars he leaves before committing his crimes. There is so-called liberation of beauty mentioned upon each of them. Phantom Thief B steals not for money, but for an ideal he believes in. And it is in fact, we believe, are clues to his true identity. A number of valid theories that come about on the face behind the famed thief. Fortunately, they're all lacking conclusive proof, as they are numerous and it is impossible to say whether or not any of them are actually correct. To complicate matters further, we know that the range individuals coming forward pretending to be him and allowing themselves to be captured by law enforcement. That is not to say, however, that none of the theories circulating are all plausible. Here we introduce such theories which have developed significant followings and may turn out not to be too far from the truth. Theory 1. Enormous con artist X. X's personal history. X is known for exceptional skills as a con artist, having faked his own identity in order to engage in romantic relationship with normal women. He was handsome as he was capable, and was exceptionally proud in nature as well. Born to a poor family in the temperate South, he became used to stealing in order to make ends meet from a young age. According to testimony from a companion of his at the time, was never once caught for his thefts. The reason X converted from being a common thief to a con artist is believed to have stemmed from falling in love with a noblewoman of a much higher social standing than he. The rule of aristocracy was absolute in the country he called home, and blessed romance between the two of different classes unthinkable. With that in mind, he resolved to create a false identity in order to make his dream possible. Following his first rousing success, he came to do the same for a myriad of other occasions, indulging in one forbidden affair after another. It was a mere 10 years ago that he was arrested of suspicion of identity fraud, but then he performed a miraculous escape from prison. Ever since then, his whereabouts have been unknown. Thoughts. Both X's peerless skills as a thief and interest in forbidden romances with noblewomen sound remarkably what we know of Phantom Thief B. Also worth noting it is that despite using his abilities of deception to court those who have vast wealth, he displayed no interest in their fortunes. That is to say, he gained no financial benefit from his actions whatsoever. Instead, he simply lamented that he was unable to indulge them because of something of trivial of his social class. Conclude that his attitude bears a striking resemblance to the thief's own views of beauty. Theory number 2. Tragic artist Y. Y's personal... Ease! Of course it's Ease. E was an artist of rather tragic past. Born to a middle-class family in the north, he was hired by an influential aristocrat to be the personal artist, producing many stunning pieces of work. However, it was later discovered that it wasn't all he produced. On the contrary, also responsible for a number of counterfeit pieces. The one who hired him sought to seek profit through ill means thanks to his work, and he created such counterfeits under the noble's instructions. One day, Y suddenly left the noble's service. That's where his tragedy begins. Immediately after leaving his client behind, he received terrible news. His lover, the daughter of a respected family, had been killed in a traffic accident. While there's no evidence to prove as much as rumored, the noble may have had a helping hand in her death. Y was only spotted once more at his lover's grave before ever disappearing from the public eye. Those who knew his story knew the true tragedy artist. Several years later, the noble was murdered. Thoughts. Story Y has still unresolved mystery surrounding it and has invited much speculation, both which have likely led to the theory that he and Phantom Thief B are one and the same. Those aren't the only reasons, naturally. Phantom Thief B is known from time to time to dispose of counterfeits, believing them to be false beauty. This had led us to believe that Phantom Thief B may be attempting to rid the world of counterfeits that he created himself, lending further credibility to the discovery of the forgeries disposed of by Phantom Thief B, or indeed the works of Y. Skilled martial artist Z. Z's personal history. The story of Z is significantly different from the other two potential identities we propose here, making an unusual but still plausible possibility. Z was born in the Far East as the son of a famed military. He was an attractive, delicately built young man, but he was far more skilled with martial arts than his fame would have suggested, being blessed with great natural talent. Also said possessed a keen, sharp mind, and there was a mild air of arrogance about him too. Well, that sounds like Blue Blanc. Z was indeed blessed in nearly every way. He came from an important family, he had skill, he had looks, and as a result, he can feel bored with the world around him. He hardly kept such thoughts to himself, in fact. He often voiced his complaints to anyone within earshot. These complaints persisted until one day he simply disappeared, telling no one where he was going and leaving nothing to suggest his next destination. Thoughts. Much of the series is based on the idea of geniuses being eccentric by nature. There are some who say the fighting style of Z has some resemblance to the particular schools used by Phantom Thief B. But in terms of credibility, the theory is cut above many other similarly unusual suggestions. Still, the idea that the man beneath the mask is the one from the East is certainly an interesting and exciting one, leading many to wish it were true, even if they find themselves doubting it actually is. So, out of the three, I'd have to say my guess would be either X or a combination of X and Y. No one knows sure hear the truth from himself. Of course, whether you can trust anything he says is a discussion for another time. Postscript. After this article was first published, we received a card to believe Phantom Thief B himself at our office. Contents of the card as follows. The truth of my identity already lies within your grasp. My number reveals all. Phantom Thief B. That said, uncovering the meaning behind his words, proving to be a trying task. Hold on a second. I am getting my phone out because I forget what number he is. Enforcer number 10. Will one valued reader be able to step forward and solve what we cannot? Only time will tell. I don't know if that his number actually is indicative to anything, but it's interesting. Oh well, next door. Oh yes, I want to go through this one because I have a feeling Dick's door is going to be a long one. Oh yes, yes, I do know something. I just have to open the doors to get to this one. I don't have to complete them all because I was worried that I'd have to complete Nightmare Arena, which there is a deal going on about me getting to the Nightmare round of the final arena. I mean, final round of the Nightmare round. God damn it. I can't use words well. Yes, the door should have been able to be opened to me from like the 3rd chapter. And still, only at Death 99. Unless this door has a battle in it. Shall grant you a memory fragment and my blessing. Alright. Oh. Report on attack on the Erebonia's Brace Guilds. In Septian calendar 1202, many of the branches of the Bracer Guild and Erebonia came under attack in quick succession. Preparations are an armed group, but all else about them are unknown. And the guild, along with connected to it in nations, fell a state of confusion. Before long, the orbital communication networks in the capital was rife with calls and messages. The situation grew increasingly grave. From Intelligence Division, 1st Subdivision, to General Staff Office. At dawn yesterday, Capital's guild houses were completely destroyed by powerful explosives. According to the 2nd Subdivision's analysis, the explosives were likely set below those buildings in the city underground waterways. Judging by the explosive used and means deployed by the work of professionals, currently working on confirmed locations of potentially dangerous persons within the country. From Intelligence Division, 3rd Subdivision, to Intelligence Division, 1st Subdivision. A Jaeger member has been found among the suspected of entering the country illegally. Prone to be responsible for the logistics of the Jaeger Corps, keep an eye on other members of the same corps in the country. At dawn today, the guild house in Hemdal came under attack. When unable to contact the bracers charged with overseeing them, request aid of a high-ranking bracers. This is urgent. Repeat, urgent. From Intelligence Division, 1st Division to General Staff. Bracer Guild and Erebonia sent a message to the guild's Grancel Brents. Judging by the content of the message, at least one high-ranking bracer will be entering Erebonia in the coming days. Request that they be pursued and put under strict surveillance upon arrival. Two days after the assault begins, Cassius Bryce, S-rank, arrived in the Imperial capital. He assumed the post of provisional representative for the Erebonian Guild. Through doing so, he assessed the damage set to the guilds and called for bracers to be assigned to them, who had been scattered throughout the chaos, to reconvene outside the city. He also would halt to communications to prevent interception of the enemy. At this point, guilds in 6 cities had been attacked, and the Bracer Guild in Erebonia was beginning to struggle to function. The branches had not been attacked, requested the army's protection. However, there seemed to be no hurry to grant their support, making clear they could not be counted upon. Meanwhile, provisional representatives was able to estimate a rough location of the enemy supply base from their movement up to that point. After choosing a small number of bracers who are familiar with the area, he sent them to try and find it. His reasoning for going for the approach was that he concluded the enemy would have built a base inside the country because of how strict the Arbonia's border control are. It will not take long for his lose the battle but win the war strategy to produce results. From Intelligence Division, 1st Subdivision, General Staff Office. Bracer sent by Liberals Guild is confirmed to be Cassius Bright. Bright, an S-rate bracer whose file in our subdivision has rated him a level 4 threat, the second highest level possible. He is also a man believed to have commanded the counter-offensive during the Imperial Army during the 100 Days War. May potentially pose a threat to national security, so he's being carefully watched. Sure, he's well aware of that. Attempt to track Cassius Bright failed. Current whereabouts are unknown. Yep! You do not fuck around with Cassius. However, as requested by HQ, we have not raised the alert level and have left it at stands. Self bracers are currently traveling abroad on train. We will then be taking part in some sort of operation. 6 bracers assaulted the Jaeger's base. The Jaegers inside were apprehended. We've identified them to be members of the Jester Jaeger Corps. Discovery of the enemy's base revealed that it was a Jaeger Corps known as Jester was behind the attacks. After this, however, the Jaegers' movements became more passive. The two sides entered a deadlock. The stalemate continued for roughly 2 months. During this time, the guild representative made contact with the Intelligence Division and began preparing for an operation that would ultimately allow him to bring the trouble to an end. Cassius Bright made contact with a number of our subdivision, currently in the process of confirming. The target, Cassius Bright, has proposed a joint operation intending to meet him at a specific time and date. Strategic analysis of the Bracer Guild attack, Intelligence Division 2nd Subdivision. What eventually broke the deadlock was a brilliant strategy devised by Cassius Bright. Having successfully made contact with a member of the Intelligence Division, he made them send a message to HQ in hopes that it would be intercepted by the enemy. What happened was exactly that. From the message that they were able to deduce the time and place of the next meeting would happen and set about plotting his assassination. Exactly what Cassius had hoped for. During the meeting, Cassius also said the Intelligence Division member encoded the message. It contained detailed plans for an operation in which the Imperial Army would defeat the Jaegers after they had been fused out by false information. Lured out. The General Staff Office chose to go ahead with the proposed plan after a joint operation with the Bracer Guild. The Jaegers who had gathered to assassinate Cassius were surrounded by a force to surrender. Further, the remnants of the force who are in other bases were also defeated in the initial after the initial prisoners gave their locations. Several months after the trouble began, Jester was completely dismantled. Raising the threat level of Cassius Bright as Ray Bracer effective immediately. Henceforth, he'll be registered as a level 5 threat. That's what he deserves to be, goddammit. He possesses a severe threat to national security and must be placed under strict surveillance if he ever enters the country again. Confirmed the surveillance target has left the country today. His departure was without incident. Handing control over to the mission over to our foreign agencies. Transmissions over. From GSO Special Investigative Department to His Excellency the Chancellor. We have confirmed Cassius's Bright departure. Shall continue to pursue him, but has not shown any suspicious behaviors to date. We have yet to confirm the interactions between him and the minstrel. Okay. Okay, minstrel. That's obviously Oliver. Duh. Assault on the Imperial Guild's finished. Okay. 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 Every single part of that leads me to believe, since we already know that the Chancellor isn't found in the Bracer Guilds in the first place, that he first set up the Jaeger Corps and take out the Bracer guilds. And, eventually when he showed up, Cassius was on his hit list. Unfortunately for him, Cassius was a little too smart. Two great minds going at it, and Cassius came out on top, becoming a ranked #1 badass and level threat of Erebonia. This game I'm happy I played this game last, because it's just making me think about all the underlying plots that are going on, and not just like the main ones, like with Estelle and Joshua and Rain, but everything that's going on in the background. That's why I love this game franchise so much. It knows how to tell a story well. But anyhow, I'm getting the episode here, so thank you everybody for watching. If you have anything you want to say, make sure it's down in the comments below, and thank you for staying weird.